What if I told you you get to come to Earth? You get to experience this very short, very surreal blip of existence. You get to learn all the life lessons. You get to choose an avatar. You get to choose your parents. You get to choose maybe some really unfavorable circumstances because you have to learn to overcome all of it. Maybe you choose a parent who loves you greatly, who sets you up for an easy life. Maybe your past cycle wasn't very friendly. And maybe now you get the easy one. Or maybe you choose a parent who doesn't try, has a lot of their own demons to face. Maybe it's intentional. Maybe you need to learn to reconcile with that parent. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you need to learn to reparent yourself, to figure out what safety is, to learn to walk away from the things that hurt you. What if I told you you got to pick your avatar? You get to pick this face, not because you like it in any way. Well, not you. But because it was somebody you loved in your past life. Doesn't that intrigue you? Doesn't that have you wondering what it was about this person that was so darn special? What do you think they talked like? How do you think they walked? Would you embody them? Were they really eclectic, humble, and envisionary? Were they really bubbly, smiley, and warm? Maybe they're quick-witted. Maybe they're a little bit sarcastic. Maybe they're constantly working on being a better person, and that's why you loved them so much. Maybe they're really open, maybe a little too vulnerable. Are they tender and loving? What do you like about them? Do they value authenticity over perfection? Do they embrace your flaws? Do they lift you up when you're feeling down? Are they good at resolving problems? Are they calm and nurturing? Are they entertaining? Would you choose where you live? Would you choose a life of poverty that you have to overcome? Do you think you know how many children you'll have? Life doesn't always go as planned. Do you think maybe in this wondrous life you won't choose to have children? You'll choose to find family and friends and animals, maybe some foster kids, maybe just taking care of other people's kids. You have to learn to maybe be kinder to those in need, to try to see from perspectives you've never experienced yourself. Would you know what your purpose was as soon as you were born? Or would you need to spend years, maybe decades, maybe an entire lifetime living without purpose, wandering, learning to be a more selfless human, to learn to think bigger picture, to expand, to try to find that purpose? Maybe your purpose is just as simple as being happy and being present and being more grounded in the now. Maybe you're more ambitious. Maybe you need to be an astronaut, be a philosopher, be a writer. Maybe you have multiple purposes. Maybe you learn to expand within your own art style. Maybe you learn to put aside some of those unfavorable prejudices. Maybe you learn to accept people you never thought you could get along with. Maybe your purpose is to learn to hang out with people who are nothing like you, so unique in their own way. Maybe your purpose is to learn to embrace very different viewpoints. Learn to see things from a perspective that maybe you don't agree with whatsoever, but you can see what they're saying and you can see the value in it. Maybe your purpose is to feel every kind of pain imaginable so you can learn to conquer them all. Maybe you have no purpose. Maybe life is meaningless. Maybe that's the learning curve of it. Maybe you have to add purpose in your day-to-day. Even if it's the simplest, most boring tasks. Maybe your purpose is to heal generational trauma. I don't know if that was my own purpose, but I feel as though I've done far more than my ancestors. Maybe you need to take a different path than your ancestors. Maybe what they did wasn't necessarily wrong, but maybe you see there's a better way, something far more humane. Maybe your purpose is to learn to love the creatures that don't love you back, to provide unconditional love for yourself and for others. Maybe your purpose is to learn to remove hate, to learn to remove the thorns. How does anger help this? Or maybe your purpose is to feel the feelings more healthily. Not to be a rage monkey, but to feel the anger, to go through it more constructively. Maybe channeling it into your art, maybe channeling it into your workouts, maybe channeling it into taking action as an activist. Speaking up for those minorities who feel as though they aren't safe to use their own voice. To fight for trans rights, to fight for LGBTQ+, to fight for African Americans, to fight for equality. We're all equal. To maybe just realize that. To be comfortable with races that maybe in your youth you were taught to hate, to despise for no proper reason other than their differences. To learn to celebrate their differences. To realize that just because we don't understand something, maybe we fear it a little bit, whether that be the unknown or, heaven forbid, a non-binary child, or maybe somebody who thinks that they are an animal or a tree or whatever it is. To not approach them with malice, but maybe positive curiosity, or maybe just to learn, or to maybe learn that they're a little different, but they're not pushing their views on anyone else. They're not telling everybody to go and be tree folk. They're just living their best life as a wannabe tree. So maybe you aren't a tree all the time. Maybe you're not like them in that sense, but maybe you learn to hang out with them and pretend to be a rock. Whatever works. As long as you're doing it with laughter and smiles and good intention. Why are somebody's differences meant to set us apart? Maybe your purpose is to become a humanitarian. Maybe your purpose is something more simplistic. Maybe you're just meant to learn to break all your bad habits and to be forgiving and gracious with yourself when you slip into them, because you will, my darling. But to realize that your pitfalls won't be so low. One day, maybe your purpose will be to see yourself in others, to see when they're struggling with their own bad habits and to help pick them up or to distract them from those bad habits, their unfavorable choices. Maybe you need to learn what safety is. Maybe you need to learn how to be more secure in yourself, more confident. Walk like you have a purpose. Talk like you have a purpose. Maybe become more well-spoken. Maybe expand in a skill that you prior thought you had no abilities in. To learn how to be ambidextrous, to retrain your eyes back to 20/20 vision, to really expand on some of the limitless possibilities, to maybe meet one of your favorite celebrities and realize they're just as human as you, maybe more so. Maybe you need to learn to be softer with your demons, softer with those projections, less hurtful to others in the process, less hurtful to yourself. Maybe to manage ego, a very, very difficult task for those who feel that they're special, and you are special. But why not show it? Why not show it within your passion projects? Why not show it within helping others, within finding purpose? You can say it from time to time, everything in moderation, but why not show it? Show it within your art, show it within all the skill sets that you have come here to learn and develop. Why not see the specialty in others? See how they shine bright in their own very unique ways. Maybe it's the autistic kid who isn't letting autism be a hindrance. Maybe it's the person who sees the word ability in their disability. Maybe it's the sick girl with the chronic illness who says, not today. Maybe it's the person who has no limbs, but so much joy and so much gratitude. Maybe your purpose is to stay soft in a hard world, to be empathic, to be open to love again,